So there used to be a point in time when you would go to your local mall and you would be like 50 feet away from an Abercrombie and Fitch store and you can just smell fierce in the air. They used to pump it through the vents, they used to spray it on all of the clothes, and I remember just associating Abercrombie and Fitch's Fierce with a mall scent, and it's such an incredible fragrance composed by Christophe Laudamiel. I'm personally a fan and I owned it many years ago. Here we have the newest flanker and the newest iteration of Abercrombie & Fitch's Fierce. This one is called Fierce Night. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on this fragrance, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin my fragrance review of Fierce Night by Abercrombie & Fitch, I do want to mention that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, if you like fragrance reviews just like this, brand new releases, but also top 10 videos, giveaways, unboxings, and more, please do consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. All you have to do is click on that red button in the corner, and of course, while you're at it, make sure to enable notifications by clicking on the bell. So, Fierce. I'm sure all of you know about Fierce. If you do, or if you've owned a bottle of it, leave a comment down below. I think that's going to serve as a testament as to its popularity, and I think there are so many people that have made such great memories with Abercrombie & Fitch's Fierce. And here we have the newest flanker. Now, of course, there was First Instinct, and there were tons of other flankers for Fierce, and this one is called Fierce Night. And as you can tell, it has the dark bottle here, a much darker presence, kind of evoking the fact that maybe this one is going to be darker, more smoky, resinous, mysterious, all of that jazz. I went on the website and it says smooth and creamy woods, crushed herbs, lavender, and bergamot. And so it's a very simple note breakdown, and I don't really see what in that note breakdown is going to make this one sound like a night type of a fragrance. And of course, we have a lot of other fragrances that utilize the name night in their name. And so like Ataro Wanted by Night is one example. And there are a few others not coming to mind right now. But in any case, I'm excited to tell you about this fragrance. If I find this to be a darker version of Abercrombie & Fitch's Fierce, and also if you were presented with the option of purchasing one or the other, which one do I think you should pick up? And of course, I'm also going to tell you about the giveaway opportunity towards the end of this video, so make sure to stay tuned. But let's start with the presentation. So as soon as this fragrance opens up, I get this like icy feel about it. Now it's icy without smelling metallic, and I think that that's very important. I have some other fragrances that smell a little metallic, hint, hint, absolutely gross. This one, on the other hand, it just smells icy, and it's kind of similar to the icy component that I get in Glacial Essence by Bulgari. But in this fragrance, I feel like that iciness is established through the citrus and the crushed herbs. So I'm not getting too much of a basil, tarragon, thyme quality, so it doesn't smell herbal or culinary in that sense. Maybe there's something about it that's a little bit minty, but I'm also getting clary sage. And the reason I say that is because I've actually encountered clary sage in a bunch of aquatic fragrances. And so whenever I smell sage, whenever I smell nutmeg, I think of a lot of oceanic and aquatic fragrances because I feel like those two spices kind of contribute to the synthesis of that accord. And so I am getting a little bit of clary sage in this one, and I think it's very pleasant. And the bergamot is definitely in here. And the reason why I'm inclined to say that it is bergamot and not any other citrus ingredient is because that citrusy appeal in the opening is kind of nondescript, and it doesn't have anything too interesting about it. And I say that in the sense that it doesn't smell sweet like a mandarin, it doesn't smell tart like a grapefruit, it doesn't smell quirky like a yuzu. It just kind of smells like citrus. So it opens up with that citrusy thing in the opening, and then as it starts to settle down, that lavender is like the strongest note. And I'm not really surprised because you're also going to get a lot of lavender from the original. So I do find that it has that synchronicity, right? That they're both kind of similar in that sense. And, you know, we need that unification in order for it to be a flanker. If not for that, then it could have been a totally different fragrance, a standalone fragrance, you know, packaged and bottled in a different bottle, different presentation, whatever. So you are going to get that uniform lavender note in here. And the lavender note is also really bright, you know? I think there are some varieties of lavender that can be a little floral leaning. Also some varieties of lavender that can be a little powdery, like 1725 Casanova or Invasion Barbar by Parfum MDCI. This one is not powdery at all, which is great. And I think that that adds to that iciness and that fresh, clean sort of a vibe that is evoked through this fragrance. And so I find that this one is much brighter than the original Fierce. The original Fierce is probably more in the musky lavender territory. This one is more in the citrusy lavender territory, which I find to be quite interesting. Now in the base, it says creamy woods, maybe sandalwood, but I'm not getting any sandalwood too strongly from this one. I am getting cashmere, and so I perceive there to be a little bit of this cashmere wood slash cashmere vibe that is established in the base. And there is also still something a little bit musky about this one. So I'm not trying to say that the musk was completely omitted from this composition, because yes, there still is something musky about it. But I just feel like I get this bright herbal and citrusy in a nondescript way lavender fragrance. And so I'm trying to think between the original and this one, which one do I perceive to be darker? Maybe this one but only by like a centimeter. And so I don't find it to be that much darker, but I find it to be much cooler than the original. And so like I said, it almost has like this icy sensation, and I think when you put your nose on it, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. And so I feel like because of the strength of the opening of this fragrance and that iciness that's established, I can see this one really penetrating and cutting through the cold, whereas the original is a little bit more mellow, right? It kind of has like that clean, soapy, musky, powdery lavender thing going on in there, whereas this one is a little bit more energetic in the opening, and I kind of enjoy that. So listen, if you're considering purchasing one or the other, I mean, if you're interested in smelling different and not smelling like everybody else, then I would say purchase this one, right? This one is a brand new fragrance. The likelihood of somebody smelling like you is slim to none. It also kind of goes in the vibe of like a Mont Blanc Legend, and I know they just released the new Eau de Parfum, and so that one is a little bit darker as well, so it kind of goes in that direction. However, if you want to curate a collection for yourself of classic and timeless and successful perfumes, I would say go with the original, right? The original has received tons of praise, and the original is one that is highly revered among, you know, fragrance collectors and connoisseurs of the art. And so this one is cool for it being a brand new fragrance and also a much brighter iteration over the original. But yeah, I think that it's totally going to be dependent on what you're looking for in a perfume. If you want to smell new and novel and different and you want to stand out, or you want to wear something that is tried and true, more established, and something that already has this iconic status in the industry. But all in all, I find it to be a really pleasant scent, albeit a little bit linear and perhaps not as much of an iconic smell as the original, but it is a new fragrance, so let's see how it does over the next few years, right? Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, I took a look at the uniqueness and the overall smell, and it's not really the most unique fragrance. I mean, this sort of citrus lavender combination is something that I've smelled many, many times before. However, I do like the fact that they are staying true to their roots, and so they didn't make it smell like totally different from the original, which in my opinion is a great thing. Not just a good thing, but a great thing, because it kind of symbolizes what a flanker is truly all about. The overall smell, very pleasant. It has this youthful vibe about it, very much like the original. And so I feel like if you are a high school student, maybe early college, you want to smell, you know, just well-groomed, I think this one is a no-brainer for you. Longevity was about 5 hours on my skin. So this one is an eau de cologne concentration, so it's a bit weakly concentrated. So I didn't get the best longevity from this one, but it was also really inexpensive. I purchased it directly from their official website, which I think is the only place that you can get it at the moment. They probably have it in their stores as well, but I purchased it online. And the price is really affordable, especially considering the size. And I am going to speculate that it's going to get cheaper in time. But yeah, 5 hours longevity on my skin. Not the greatest, but not bad, not terrible either. Projection on this one was solid for the first hour and a half of application, just because of that bright citrusy, sort of energetic introduction. And then it did start to sit a little bit closer to the skin at that like 2.5 to 3 hour mark. Versatility on this one is also really good. I feel like this one is a Swiss Army knife type of a fragrance. I also feel like you are going to get tons of compliments wearing this one. I can see somebody really enjoying this fragrance in the colder months. Probably not in the dead of winter, which is kind of the season that we're in now, but I think this would work really well in spring, summer, and autumn. And I think that this one does lean a little bit masculine on account of the fact that it has that strong presence of lavender in there. And lavender is kind of one of those ingredients that, especially as of late, has been equated to like a masculine perfume. And so just keep that in mind. And then in terms of the presentation, they could have called it Fierce Ice or Fierce Morning or something else, and I would have been equally convinced. But hey, Fierce Night it is. No knock on the name. I think it's a pretty cool name. So my final verdict on this fragrance is, if you are a fan of the original Abercrombie & Fitch's Fierce and you want to see the DNA interpreted just slightly differently, but something that sort of gives off that bright, fresh, herbal, citrusy, and icy feel while preserving the lavender, I would say definitely check this one out. I think it might be to your liking. And also, if you're a fan of lavender scents in general, like the Mont Blanc that I mentioned earlier, like the original, like the 1725 Casanova, definitely check this one out. And I really hope you like it. For the price that it's going for, I think it's a pretty decent pickup. So there you have it, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for tuning in. That was my fragrance review of Fierce Night by Abercrombie & Fitch. If you own or have tried this fragrance, please let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Also, leave a comment down below and let me know, and this is in order to qualify for the giveaway, because I will be giving away a 5 ml decant to anyone, no matter where you live in the world. All you have to do is leave one comment down below and let me know what is your favorite fresh fragrance. It could be a citrus-based composition, lavender-based composition, a musky fragrance. It doesn't have to be from the company Abercrombie & Fitch. That's all you got to do. Just be subscribed to this channel and leave one comment down below. And also make sure to come back to this video in 1 week's time, because I will be pinning the winning comment to the top of the comment thread. And so, yeah, good luck to all. Thanks again for watching. Love you all, and we'll see you next time. Bye.